Hey there, Matt Heggelund, Product Manager, MPOWR Envision. Really excited to be back today with another monthly product update. Today, for November's release, we're going to be talking about our first view in the Work Center. So for my dashboard here, I'm going to click into the Work Center and let's take a look. So for November, the first view you're going to see in here is our calendar view. A couple things just to point out real quick. We're going to take a look on the left-hand side, and we're going to see this quick filter for my work. So what this view is basically going to help people do is going to manage their own work. So those tactics, action items, KPIs, anything that has a kind of a date-bound configuration to it, and those reminders of when things need to be updated is really going to be shown on the calendar. So it's going to help somebody manage their own work. You're going to see a note down here towards the bottom about custom filters coming soon. Those custom filters we're talking about are coming in December, and that filtering is going to allow somebody not only to manage their own work, but to be able to configure some filters and save some filters that's going to allow them to quickly access specific things that they need to be able to view to help people monitor the execution. So let's say I manage 3 employees. I can have a team set up in Envision, and I can have a calendar view for that team that's going to show me all of the work across my team. Or maybe I want to look at a specific strategy or objective inside of a specific plan, and I want to see all of the activities under that strategy. I can create a filter and save it for that, so I can, if I'm the owner of that strategy, I can use this calendar view and the additional views that come down the road with the Work Center as well to help monitor that execution and use it more interactive, maybe in meetings that I can bring up the calendar and we can look through what's coming up, and just be a more proactive and easier way to monitor that execution. All right, so down that left side, what we're going to see here is my work. This include collaboration toggle just means, my work is going to show you anything where you are the owner of an activity. So any tactic, action item, KPI that you own. You can toggle this include collaboration, which is going to include everything that you own, but also include anything that you are collaborating on as well. The plans here is going to show any plan that you are a member of, and then there's a little kind of color-coded key. So as I look at the Scoops demo, let's say, with that color background, I know that these cards with that same color background are part of Scoop. So it helps me identify what plan each thing is part of, and as I go over and look at something, I can get a hover there that shows me what plan it's part of as well in that hover. So as I look through the controls here, we're going to see a Today button, which just basically means if I go out, let's say to January, I can click Today, which is going to return me essentially to the current month. And then I'm going to use these controls next to the month to quickly navigate forward or backwards through the months. Some of the enhancements we'll be talking about in December as well is not only a monthly view, but also a weekly view. And once we implement that, we'll also have a date control, basically a date picker almost on the left-hand side here, where you'll be able to always have a calendar visible and use that calendar to navigate through the weeks or months, however you have selected to view your calendar, either weekly or monthly. And then as I go over here, you're going to see some types. So, this is our tactic icon, this is our action item icon, and this is our KPI icon, or key performance indicator. So by default, all of the activities that you own, no matter what type they are going to be displayed. But if I only wanted to view KPIs, maybe I can click KPI, that icon, and I'm only going to see KPIs on the calendar view from there. And it is a multi-select, so I could choose multiple ones. But by default, all 3 of those are automatically returned, and then you click specifically if you want to filter out things. This show field right here is going to show activities based on update required. So as we look at an action item, let's say, so if I click on this ribbon cutting, this frequency drives the update required. So I have a weekly frequency. So the system's going to want an update once a week to this action item based on that frequency. And an update is simply just any change to this action item. So whether it's I change health, I update the target date maybe, or I go in here and add a progress note. Any of those changes are essentially an update. So the system's going to drive and say, hey, you need to update this thing once a week. So when I see it on the calendar, I'm going to see it on every day here, host a ribbon, or every week on this Friday. An important note is um, if you want this thing to show on a different day that, hey, like this action item I really want to update on Monday, once you do your first update on a Monday, then subsequently the system's going to pick up on that and it's going to change the reminder or where it shows on the calendar to Monday. Um, so it kind of helps you drive when you want to do the update. So it'll remember the last time you did the update and the day of the week you did it. And from now on, it's going to want you to update it on that day of the week. Just a quick tip there. So we have update required, and then we have target date. So if I change it to show by target date, you'll see my calendar gets a little less busy. And this is simply showing me that these things is when um, the way these things are shown on the calendar is when they're configured to be complete. So my target period here was November 2020, and I wanted it to be updated on the first day of the period. So my target date for this would have been, November 1st, based on that target period on the KPI being November and the first day of the period. Same thing if I look at create campaign, the target date is 11/19. So the system is telling me that by 11/19, this item should be technically closed out. So you can choose how you want to view that. But update required is usually the most typical one that you'll want to see because that's about making sure people are updating the plan on a regular basis, updating what they need to do. So as we go through here and take a look down on the calendar, you're going to see on the 20th, I have a lot of activity here. So I have a see more button, and as I click see more, I can see all of the activity. And the 20th has a lot of activity on it. I do have some demo data in here, but basically it's got a lot of activity on it because if anything is outstanding where I haven't done an update that I should have done, there was an update due 2 weeks ago, I didn't do it. All of those activities that that are requiring an update from the past are always going to be shown on the day of to try to encourage you to do it. So essentially, if I wouldn't update these today, a lot of these would just roll over to tomorrow because it's going to try to encourage you to do those updates um, going forward. So as I look down here and click on something, let's say, you're going to see that right drawer kind of slides out here. And you'll see in the background I have these three things highlighted. So maybe this is a better example. I'll click here. I can see it's going to highlight and put them into focus anywhere where this thing falls onto the calendar. And then from there I can make changes. So I can change this from medium or from high to medium priority. I can change the target date. I can add a progress note. You could add an attachment if you wanted to. I'm going to skip that for right now. But essentially, you can do your updates from this calendar. So I can use this right drawer and click through and figure out what I need to update. And if there is something that you don't see on here or you want to take a deeper look, we have this open in navigator link. So for my purposes, just because I want to get back to the calendar, I'm going to click on the navigator link and open in a new tab. But essentially, you have the ability to then dive into the plan navigator and see where that item falls. Maybe you need to look at the parent item of it, so I can quickly click on the parent item of the item I just clicked on. So you'll be able to have a little bit more flexibility to be able to update multiple things from one view, interact a little bit more with the items on your calendar, and then we give you the option if you need to take a deeper look to open those items in the navigator. So this right drawer, as we talk about it, when we talk about the search filter will also have this right kind of slide out in December. So when you're navigating through the search, today you have to click into each specific item. In the future, as you click into an item from the search, you'd be able to get this right kind of slide out, interact with data, and then you wouldn't have to leave the search if you were trying to interact with multiple things in your search results. Okay, So that was kind of an action item. As I look at KPIs, what we're going to see here is on the 30th and the 1st, I have a couple things here. So if I look at the 30th and let's say this waste reduction KPI, it is a monthly KPI and it's set to update on the last day of the period. So it's always going to show on the last day of the month on my calendar. If I look at this plan KPI one I have set up, it's on the first day of the period for the month. So it's kind of a leading indicator, if you will, but it's always going to prompt, because it's monthly, it's always going to prompt me to update it or show on my calendar on the first day of the month based on that update needed. So if I can look here in the KPI slide out and I can see the last data point entered, I can add a progress note. The one thing you can't do today that we are going to add in December is the ability to add um, a data point to your KPI. So right now I'd have to go into here to add, let's say that's 50. I'd have to click into the KPI to get into the ability to add that data point. But we are adding the ability to add a data point from this right drawer in December. So again, one of those things that'll make this this calendar even more useful than it is today. You'll notice as things are changing, I get this note up here to refresh my calendar. So as things change, whether you're doing the changes on your calendar or if somebody in the system is changing or updating something that's on your calendar, the system's going to say, hey, something's changed in the background here. Why don't you refresh it to get to your new calendar results? So that is the kind of the calendar view in a nutshell here. I think it's going to be a huge step forward from an execution standpoint, just making it easier to know, hey, I got all of these action items in the plan, but how do I see them from one screen on one visual and interact with them in a more effective and efficient way? So I think this calendar view and what else we have planned for the Work Center coming up in December and even beyond, we'll continually revise and add some different views here over time. And I think it's really going to help you step up and take your execution to the next level. So we hope you enjoy it. Look forward to being back here next month with some more updates. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to answer them. Thanks and have a good one.